Welcome back to our Prestos for yet another episode on the M113 Capri. Yay! So I think we're now maybe episode 23. As you can see in the last few episodes, things have gone very much from driving M113 Capri to this. Now this is all in the name of progress. Obviously slower progress than intended because we're going and doing more, but the idea being that once we've done all this, the engine bay, it should be done. Rather than do it twice, the engine bay is done. So, sorry dog. What do we need to do this episode? Well, I think ideally, I want to finish all the welding. Get all that done. Because then, once we've got the welding done, we're on to stripping back to bare metal and prepping for paint. And once we're painted, means we can do the engine work and put the engine back in. And then we're heading in the right direction. So, what do we need to do? We've got this fun little repair to do here. Joys. So I might cut a bit more of that out actually to make life a bit easier. We've got this repair back here to do, which means I need to drop a strut. But to be fair, I need to drop the struts to paint anyway. So I might drop them both in just a second to get them out of the way, to save me damage them anymore. We've got a few little repairs to make here, like where I've gone a bit too keen there and cut through. And then we're just sort of grinding off welds. Oh, and we've still got to weld up all these patches down here. Forgot about that. So we can do all that as well. And then we're getting down the welding front. We really are. It's not looking bad. And obviously back there, I need to fabricate a bit of metal to build this little boot adapter and weld that on. And the one part I am still absolutely dreading is that back there. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I really don't have I don't have the tools to do it. Or really the skill. So that could be fun yet. Not sure yet. We've got to do something with it, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So yeah, a bit more cleaning up to do in a minute. Clean up some of these sort of welds that someone has sort of prior done on his inner wings. Tidy that up. I reckon we should get cracking. But first off, I think let's drop these suspension legs because the car's going to be staying on the ramp now until the bay's all painted anyway. And then with all this off, I can do all the work on the cross member. So actually, ideally, we just need to drop the whole cross member and the front legs. And the ARB's got to come off anyway, so you might as well just take the whole lot off. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah. Because part of our welding is we need to change these nuts here for the new ones. Yeah, okay. That's that, isn't it? Let's drop the whole cross member. And that's right in my way of doing all the work anyway, so it's got to go. Let's do that. We're making sense. Right, I'm going to crack on then. So just planning ahead now. See, as I'm on the welding in that stage, I need to make sure any fabrication work is done, obviously this side of painting. So thinking, how do I run the wiring? Because obviously the wiring's going to be running through the inner wing there. I think I've decided brake pipes are just going to stay in the engine bay to an extent. Oh, how do I run it? Because obviously I want to run through here. I can't run or bolt or drill anything through because I'll see it on the other side. So, what do I do? Well, the only place it can run then, well, there's not. There's short of here and the headlight bucket, there's no way you can drill through that isn't going to be seen the other side, or on top or on the outside. So, how do I mount it? Well, it's pretty obvious really. I want the wiring to run up here, because it's got to pass around the strut top. I could have pinned it from there to there and strung it over there and whatnot, but that's a bit rough. I prefer a stud to mount it on, because I want to rubber P-clip them. So, I bought these. These are the studs that you'd usually use with a proper stud welder and just weld up in. I haven't got one of them. I'm not spending a stupid amount of money to buy one just for a few studs. So, what I've done, like here, grind off a patch of paint, drill a 5mm hole, pop the stud down through, bolt or nut and washer at the other side to give it some strength and to give me a bit more thickness there. Weld it in really hot, grind the weld down, tighten up a bit more, weld it again just to make sure that the stud's welded nice and hot to metal, and done. So, like there, nice little patch, you wouldn't know it's there. And the other side, got a stud sticking out, ready to put a P-clip on. So that's perfect. Looks like I've got a fair bit of tidying up to do in there overall, haven't I? Joys. Is that weld there? Oh, I think it is weld all across the seam as well. Yes, where someone's joined. Oh no. You know what that means. Inside here is probably just filler. Great. Well, we're not worrying about too much about the inside of a thing here, as long as there's not any rust is treated. We're obviously not painting or stripping this back yet. That's another year's job. And that's when I do the whole underside, take all these wings off, replace the wings and everything. As long as the engine bay is sound for now, then I'm happy. By the way, that's the copper weld through primer. It actually goes on really nice. It's really expensive. It's 15, 16 quid a can. So mega money. But it's weld through. It's also anti-corrosive. So that's what I've used to treat the welds after I've done them. And what I'll be putting on the metal as I repair it and patch it. So to give a bit more protection. So I best do 2 more of these studs, and that'll be enough then to hold the wiring that way. As the wiring's going to run through from the inside down this inner wing, across through the slam panel there to the other headlight bucket, and the brake pipes are doing something similar, we don't actually need to put anything on that side, which is good. So after all, after buying 50 studs, I only need 3 of them, but I'm sure one year I'll use them. Don't mind hoarding them. Things escalated a bit here. As you can see, it's like a bigger hole than expected. We had a bit of crap over here, but then when I noticed there's a little bit of rust here, and it was starting to like expand over here. It's like, so I've got 2 options. I leave it, and in 5 years' time, I do it again, or I do it properly now. So, popped it off, rust treated it. This ring here is solid, nothing wrong with it. It was just literally there was water getting trapped in between the two, and then the layer of steel on top was corroding. So, done a bit of CAD, maybe a little template. So I cut it out now, that's some like 2mm thick steel, and then work out, once we got it made correctly, mark the holes from the underside, and then we can get them drilled and plasma cut out, and hopefully get this welded in, and see what I can do. Obviously, I'm not a fabricator. I'm learning this all as I go along. So, just bear with me and we'll see what we can get done. Alright, that's the plate made. Worked out pretty well in the end, to be honest. My plasma skills still need a bit of work, but yeah. So that's going to sit in there perfectly. I've got a few 10mm holes to go down through for the strut bolts, and then there's some 6.5mm holes here we're going to plug weld back onto the top of the strut tower. So that should go in there pretty nicely. Obviously the top of this inner wing isn't flat, so we're going to have to weld in these sides first and then work our way over to here. So I think it should work out right in the end. I'm open. So time to weld it up and see if that's another repair done. And there we go. The grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. Annoyingly, as I started welding the panel, it slightly shifted. I didn't realise. So my holes that were perfectly aligned went slightly out, but oh well. It's still good enough. But yeah, that's that now. Solid on there. So worth doing. I can grind down the welds because obviously we've got to make them flush fill over it. What next? We've still got that hole to do there, haven't I, in a minute. All the holes down there. And then, yeah, it's just working out for now. So I'm probably going to do it off camera because there's no point you guys seeing me do the same thing over and over again when these are just repairing little patches. So we'll get them done in a minute. And then we're on to the bulkhead side. Joys. Right, where did we last get to? I actually can't remember. I think I might have, yeah, we went over that, I'm sure, once at the welder last time. So I'm very happy with that repair. That'll do. Since then, I've cut off the imperial nuts on chassis rails and welded on metric ones, ready for our new high tensile bolts to come through for the cross member. Welded up that patch there. Ended up here tacking on thicker plates because one, I obviously want to get rid of the holes that are there, and I want to strengthen it a little bit because it's not the strongest area of the shell. And two, because I'm going to be covering it in another sheet of stainless, I didn't really go for the most aesthetically pleasing option. I went for the strongest. So I could seam weld it. I might seam weld the whole thing yet, but at the minute it's just stitch weld. Obviously copper weld through primer all below the surface and such done proper. What else have we done? Done that. Welded back on the part here it had cracked in there. We cut off this bracket here. It's been welded on from, I'm assuming, factory. I don't know. Not sure what it's for, but it was in my way, so it's cut off now. What else did we do? I put a this plate here is just a little extra plate at the minute because that's where the shell was cut years ago to get an intercooler running out of it before, whilst the radiator panel was in place. But I need a bit extra metal there to weld it properly, so I welded a bit in from behind so we can weld to that and it'll be stronger than ever before. Really making progress now. So what welding got left to do? That, I still don't know what I'm doing that. That's not having fun. I forgot about this one down here we need to do. Where we've got to rejoin these skins back together down here. Might be a case of using some angle iron, I'm not sure yet, we're going to work it out. Whatever's going to be the neatest, but also the best job. Not sure, we'll work it out. And also, really, it kind of needs to allow water out. Because the way, it does. The way it's currently designed is it's meant to allow a bit of water out, it goes inside there. I could also, to be honest, I could do with some more clearance here. So we might just have to redesign that full stop. I'm not sure yet, we'll work it out. So next on my list, rather than do the two pain in the ass boring ones, we'll pick the next exciting one, which is, I want to fit that down there for the cables going out. It's a bit big, but at the same time it's not, because through here we have our main power and ground come through, we have all the plugs for the engine loom, fan, all that kind of stuff. So with it, we can fit the cables through here and still pull the plugs in and out. So it's excellent, really. So we want to keep that, and we need to allow it because the way it's wired. No, actually, it doesn't matter because the plugs come back out this way. So it doesn't matter. We can either then pull in the future, pull the cables out of here individually, or we can undo one Jubilee clip and pull the whole lot out in one go. So how do I join that onto Firewall? There are multiple thoughts. First one was just a bit of mild steel bent and welded on, but problem is, without getting this on a dolly now and getting it off the ramp, I can't get inside the car to clear it to weld it properly. And then I also worked out I've run out of like 1.2mm steel. So I've got 2mm steel and bigger, but that's going to be a bit of a pain, and because I haven't got a roller machine. So I suddenly noticed that on the floor here. That's the slug that come out of there. It's like, that's circle. What sort of size is that? Oh, it's basically perfect size. So what I'm going to do is be a bit naughty. I'm going to weld a bit of stainless to it because I've got tons of stainless. I'm going to try now weld this around in a ring, and then we'll cut a hole back in here again with a plasma, and then look at tidying up that hole on the firewall there and fixing that back to the firewall. Make it so it's probably removable, which I might be going to do for future. And then we'll just seam seal it in and paint it in, but it means I can always access it again in the future if I want to remove it for some reason. So yeah, let's give that a go in a minute. I'm not sure how fiddly it's going to be or how well this is actually going to work, because we technically shouldn't weld mild stainless, but she be right. And this here is what I come up with. So it might look like a hungry face, kind of is, it's hungry for cables. So we got this stainless ring, which actually isn't a bad idea because that's going to be on and off. If the paint gets chipped off of that, it doesn't matter because it's stainless. Obviously bar the little you know, welds, but it should be right. So this now, either gonna, well, probably we'll bolt on down here. I can then seam seal in behind it to make sure any gaps are filled, and it is sealed completely to the bulkhead there. So you seam seal nicely around it to, you know, seal the edges up so it's, you know, watertight. And then that'll be a nice little outlet for my cables there. Big enough hole inside that I can put some grommet strip in it, and I can put all the plugs in and out with ease. Keep it simple. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I guess next up, which is now going to be tomorrow, because I'm going to go in a second, will be work out what on earth we're doing down the bottom there. I still don't know. Don't like that part. And then we need to finish off, like, sort these bits out up here, tidy them up. Need to work out if this sound deadening is going to stay on or I'm going to have to chip it off. I'm not sure. I don't really need it. So it's easier to take it off and paint than I will do. Because the problem is, how do you key it up without scratching into it and ruining it? And then, yeah, obviously from factory they applied it and then paint straight on top of it. But here we need to kind of key down into it to paint it, and that's going to be a bit of a faff. So we might end up removing all that, and then we've got to suss up that one. Still have no idea. But yeah, we are making progress. Another good few hours. I know when I start diving into like some of this previous repairs and that on this car, I'm probably going to have to weld a bit more up. But we're almost at the stage now of starting to grind down all these welds, and then we can strip the bay back to bare metal. Oh, I'm getting excited for that. I'm not. It's a horrible job, but I'm getting excited for it to be at a stage where it's ready to put filler on and prime it, because then we're making good progress. And then I'm in my comfort zone as well, painting. I'm hoping. Problem is, completely different video here, but I've got, alongside my big generator there, I've got a Hydrovane 11 kilowatt 3-phase compressor now. Well, I have. It's in pieces. So that unit there is rated at around about 100,000 hours easily. It's done 30,000 hours. I had it for a minute and I ruined it. Whoops. Problem is, by the time the parts arrive to hopefully fix that, I should be at the stage of painting this thing, whereas I really want the sandblasting set up to get into little gaps. So whether I strip it back to better as much as I can do, and then move on to doing the engine wiring works whilst I'm waiting on the parts, and hope I can get that fixed, ready for the end of a week maybe, to actually use it. I'd love to use it. I'm spending a fortune building a sandblasting setup. I might better use and might not better use. And the reason I wanted a sandblasting setup was to do this engine bay, and typically it's going to happen in the after. Probably I've got this engine bay done. Hey ho, we'll see what happens. With any luck, you guys will see me sandblasting this engine bay at some point, all with tight spots, because getting in around all these little bits in the headlight buckets up and around here is not really a job for any. Sandblasting kit would make it so easy, and so messy. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. So it's now the next day, actually next afternoon to be honest. Where have I got to? Well, welded up where it was cracked in here and removed some excess metal needed. Welded up here where it had been previously cut. Where the spot welds had broke, I'm pretty sure at some point the front valance has been changed. Where the spot welds were it broke, which support from a top panel, you know, where the striker plate is, down. I've actually bolted them because I think it will be better in the long run. So if I ever have to remove front valance, there's one less thing to unweld. What else have we done? So this is a bit different. Essentially, where I'd removed, there used to be a lip coming here, and you join the three skins. You had this skin, the inner skin that goes on the back, and the bottom skin. Now they were welded together, but they had drains on them to let the water out. So what I've done is I've sort of cut it back, left the drains, welded the skins back together again, and then welded this angle on front whilst treating all the stuff in behind it as well, so it doesn't rust. So now water can still go in and drain out. I will load it for lanolin products once I'm all finished and all painted up to also help it. But to be fair, it shouldn't really need to drain much, because from the radiator I do plan on having a stainless steel shield that comes down and probably drops down here anyway, and it might actually fasten on to this bit here. I'm not sure yet, because I don't really want... I reckon this could be tidier. Although saying that, that might be tight with the front pulley in that. We'll see. I'll work it out as I go along. But either way, that's now been tidied up, strengthened there as well. It's a bit overkill, but I'm happy enough with that. What else we done? Removed all the vacuum servos for the brakes. What else? Oh yeah, and then cleared up all where it was welded on inside here, and primed it all, ready to go. So that just needs seam sealing. I know it's a mess, but all I need to do for now is to seam seal it, and then I can and treat any rust in there, and then recover it for the time being. And the future job, when all the wings are replaced, they will need replacing. I just pulled it off down here earlier. When the wings are replaced for fiberglass ones and all that, that will all be stripped back to bare metal and done nice as well. But I haven't got time to do the entire car back to bare metal and start again, so we'll do it bit by bit in a minute. Where does that leave us now? Well, I think we are now left with that one thing left to weld right back there, the bit I've been dreading. I put off to the end, and then we can cut off and sort all these bits out here, where they've been modified in the past, tidy it up a bit. Nice crusty paint. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this yet. Bearing in mind we need to keep this drain here, but I've also not got the tools or skills to make a replacement panel to go in there. And I also wouldn't mind still keeping a good bit of access here as much as possible. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot of things about it in a moment, but it is getting there. I can't wait to get back to bare metal. Really can't wait. So close. I need to clean out all these chassis rails as well, because the stuff that sits in them doesn't do it any favours, because that's just going to sit there, collect moisture as well, and aid rusting, as it has done on various points this one before. So, and I'm also now considering moving the fuel pressure regulator as well. I don't really need it in the engine bay. There's no need to have it in there. And it's a bit messy and bulky, because it takes up, because you'll have your flow and return going into the engine bay. It goes through the regulator on a dead end style, so then I actually have to then join them pipes in a Y and then have one pipe come off to the engine. All I actually need in the bay is one pipe going to the engine for the fuel rail, for the dead end. So, as I've gone to this extent so far, trying to make the bay as tidy as possible, I've just forgot about something. Somehow, if I'm relocating the washer bottle to in here, somewhere along the lines, I need a washer pipe going up. Actually, to be fair, no minute. We can make a new hole through the top in the wing here. See? You can tell I live on a farm. That will need sorting out. Yeah, we can drill a hole back there, I think, and then the washer pipe can go up there from that one, and that can then tie in with obviously all these bundle of stuff we got going across here. Excellent, that'll work. Okay, one last thing to do a big bit of fabrication for. So next little update here. Been along. I've ground back everything I want to grind back. I've decided I'm not going to try weld that up, because I just haven't got the tools to do, or the skill to do it properly. Bearing in mind there's like so many different angles and bends, and then I still even if I had a piece that fitted in there perfect, I still want it in the middle to reset back in a bit. So I haven't got any of the tools to make that, and I don't want to spend ages bodging something up. So we're probably going to end up with some kind of screw-on aluminium shield that goes there. Maybe try to tie it up. I could always paint it if I want to. So that's the current plan with that one. and it would make it easier in the future when putting the engine in and out, pop it out, and then there's less chance of damaging that when getting in and out. So we're sticking with that. I'm taking the easy option. What else? Yeah, ground down all the welds, the nice ones and the bad ones, to at least a good point. So now we're ready really to start going back to bare metal, which I'm getting excited about. I'm going to have to remove this sound deadening because I don't think there's any real way of keeping it nicely. My only option would be to sound blast it, but still I'm not that keen on that. I think we just need to remove it. So to remove it, it's going to be a case of like hammer, chisel, screwdriver, maybe a chisel, and just chisel it off. So it's going to be a bit of a time consuming job. So I'm going to jump onto that now, and then we'll get cracking on the wire wheel and bring back as much of this bay as possible back to bare metal, I think, which is going to be a fair old task. Now, probably it's going to be the next video now, but I'm hoping by then, which will be tomorrow, we'll be using this. I've waited on a few parts, and then I'm going to string it together. It's going to be a bit of a bodge, but I have already done a little functional test with that, and I was very, very happy. I still need to get some media yet. So absolutely, you know, obviously that's pretty good for what it is, but that bossed it. Now I know obviously it's only still half a size as a proper professional setup, but it should do me just fine. The compressor is on its last legs after some issues. I buggered it up basically, but it is going to work. We need a few modifications, and I need to every half an hour probably just drain the oil out of it and put from me catcher and put it back into compressor. But short of that compressor should do us just fine for this. So that's going to be probably next episode where we'll get what we can that we don't get done in this bay today with a sound blaster, and then we'll be on to the exciting part. Then we'll be probably, I'd imagine it's going to be a case of epoxy prime, then fill, and then prime again, then high build prime, rub down, paint. I think I've got primer. I actually haven't checked. I know I've got epoxy primer because I bought a new kit of it. So I've got epoxy primer. Do I actually have any high build primer? Ooh. I probably should have checked it all out prior to... Feels like there's nothing there. I have some high build. I probably should have checked that, you know, way before this week. We've got the paint already, we need to mix up. So, yeah. I'm going to start the painstaking process of removing that now. Then we'll jump on the wire wheel. And we're getting close to exciting times. So it's actually the next day now, been busy. Removing this stuff, the sound deadening stuff, insulation-y, whatever you call it, actually wasn't that bad. Actually surprisingly easy. Not with a screwdriver, that would have made it really difficult. With an air chisel, it knocked off in massive chunks. Really easy. For the majority anyway. Obviously a little bit of it was a bit fiddly, but that's now most of it off. Really thick, a 1/4 inch thick. It's now revealed obviously a few bits of repairs, and I noticed on these there's a bit of corrosion in areas, so it's actually a good job I removed it. And Ford seemed to paint everything in seam sealer. So I need to remove that, and then what I'll be doing is blasting it, epoxy priming it, re-seam sealer in it, and going from there really. So I'm glad I did remove it in the end, but I've got a few repairs to do. What are we up to now then? So now, the sound blasting setup is almost ready. I've almost, well, I do have myself a working sound blaster. So I'm yet to build a temporary booth because my booth's a bit occupied, which is a pain. So I'm going to tarp up a whole area here to try and stop some of the excess just blowing everywhere, because that's my whole workshop. It's just going to be sand. It's going to be horrific. So I'm going to make up a little temporary booth. So we'll do that next video. This video though, and there's the start of the tester. Fantastic. I love sandblasted stuff. You can't really get much better prep than that. It's perfect to paint onto, and you know all the rubbish on it is gone. It is basically perfectly keyed bare steel, which is what you want to do a proper job. So yep, I love sandblasting, hence why I've invested so much time in enough money in building a setup to do this. But before we do that, because that takes time to set up and I'm probably not going to get onto it tonight, and because sandblast and wire wheels is actually the cheapest way of removing the paint, and I've had these for years, I'm going to get on now and I'm going to have a go at removing as much paint as possible just using the grinder. That's my little Lidl's grinder, 25 quid, fantastic for this kind of thing, 3-year warranty. If it breaks, I get a new one through. Perfect. So I'm going to jump on it now, time lapse removal with these wire wheels, see what we can get done, and then we're almost tied up for this episode, I think. That was not fun. I have destroyed that Lidl's grinder. Couldn't use that big one, not a chance. Vibrate too much. And then this one did work for a while, but now the bearing's completely gone in the head. It's almost impossible to hold on to that, it vibrates so much. So my hands today, a day later, absolutely kill. Not smart. So, you can see obviously there's various areas I haven't done, and that's because they're just not practical to do it with a wire wheel. Not when I've got a sound blasting set up. So yeah, and I was going to do front balance, but again, that grinder's too knackered and I'm not going to ruin my DeWalt one. So what's next then? Well, nothing for this episode. I think we've achieved enough. Just welded up a few bits I forgot to weld up. So now, yeah, on to the next episode for me, and you guys will see me again in a week. Well, it's nice to be making progress with a Capri again. We're now almost broke the back of the hard, boring, monotonous jobs, which is good. It's more poor welding there, so that's great. Oh well, ignore that. So, I'm happy with the progress we made so far. That was a fair bit of welding, a fair bit of cleaning up. So next episode is going to be a sandblast in the bay, and then, well, we're going to start having to seam seal, fill, prime, and get ready for paint. So that might all be probably all going to be the next episode, which will be good. And after that, we really have broke the camel's back on difficult jobs. So this is obviously, this whole job we've been doing pretty much was not required to put the car on the road. But it's a case of, you know, now do it once, do it properly, and I shouldn't have to do much for the bay in the future when I restore the rest of the car. So yeah, I'm happy with that. If you guys are enjoying the content, then obviously if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, just helps the channel. Drop a video a like, that really helps. Drop me a comment, tell me what you think. Is there a better way of doing this? Is there some tools or products I'm missing out on, which would make it great? Yeah, and obviously if you're new to this series, then there's another 22 episodes prior to this on all the progress we made with fitting the M113 in a Capri and being, as far as I can work out, the world's first ever running driving M113 powered Ford Capri. So yeah, I've been Jordan. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and with any luck, I'll see you again next time. Cheers!